Hi guys, Hound DeMarco here, General Manager of the world's largest online sports handicapping website in the world, VegasSportsAdvisors.com, with your Friday college basketball report. 2-0 sweep for the second straight day on Thursday, scoring with your college complimentary plays in the Mountain West Conference on Colorado State and Boise State. That's 10 out of 12 freebies in the bank since Saturday's card. Two more college comps coming up today. Once again, returning to the Thomas and Mack Center, the scene of the crime for last night's two winners for a complimentary play on today's contest between Wyoming and Boise State, and then heading to Greensboro, North Carolina for your ACC tournament action between Virginia and North Carolina. Remember, guys, you can get my best bet today and the best bets of every single handicapper over at VegasSportsAdvisors.com absolutely free, thanks to the one-day free all-access trial pass. And free means free. It's as simple as that, guys. You get all the plays of all the handicappers for one day free. Why? Because I want you to sample our wares. I want to see you get a chance to examine what we do absolutely free with no strings attached. Because every handicapper breaks down games differently, and everybody has a different mindset. All the handicappers at VegasSportsAdvisors.com are scattered across the country. They have varying degrees of experience, anywhere from 8 years up to 25 years. So again, I want you to sample the wares. You get a taste for free with no strings attached. Check it out. The one-day free all-access trial pass offer over at VegasSportsAdvisors.com. As I always like to say, the only way you don't win is if you don't take advantage of the absolutely free offer. Okay, your first complimentary play, I'm going to go with Boise State for a second straight day. Now down to about a 4 to 4.5 point favorite. Was 5.5 overnight at the Thomas and Mack Center here in Vegas against Wyoming. You know, Boise has won 15 out of 16 games since losing in Laramie back on January 10th in the season's lone meeting. In that particular contest, which was a 65-54 loss, the Cowboys, not a great offensive team, hit nearly 54% of their shots. Meanwhile, Boise State hit just 39.6, and they were hammered on the boards, out-rebounded 30-19, and their inability to get the ball down and be successful in the paint also was reflected in the fact that their free throw attempts, they had just 9 versus 16 for Wyoming. But tonight's game is not in Laramie, and nobody's ever going to confuse Laramie, Wyoming, and Las Vegas. If they do, I don't know what drugs they are taking. But here, you know, you've got a neutral court site. You got a Boise team that has definitely peaked, winning 15 of 16 games since that loss. You got a Boise team that toyed with Air Force yesterday in their tournament opener, 80-68. You've got a Wyoming team that was lucky to survive against Utah State, 67-65. Wyoming team that had lost 3 of its final 4 regular season games. And you also have kind of a well-rested Mountain West Conference Player of the Year, and that, of course, the player I'm speaking of is Boise State's Derek Marks, because yesterday he was saddled with foul trouble against Air Force, so he only played 25 minutes, okay? And he only played 27 or 26 minutes in the season finale, which was a home blowout against Fresno State last Saturday. For a guy who was logging almost 35 minutes a game the previous couple of weeks, that's so important when you're averaging almost 20 points a game and leading your team, and you've been declared the best player in the Mountain West Conference. So I'm going to go with Boise State in this one. The other play, originally, I thought Virginia might be the play against North Carolina. But the more I thought about this particular game, the Virginia that is playing North Carolina today is not the Virginia that played North Carolina and won in Chapel Hill in the season's only regular season meeting. No, that Virginia team had a healthy Justin Anderson, their top outside shooter, hitting nearly 42% of his shots. Their second leading scorer, averaging nearly 14 points a game. Yes, Anderson returned yesterday after a broken finger and an emergency appendectomy. Cost him 9 games. He returned against Florida State, which was a Virginia 58-44 win, but it was a very ineffective 12 minutes off the bench. He just took a couple of shots, missed them both, and only grabbed a couple of rebounds. Now, the team got an emotional lift, but you need more than that if you're going to beat North Carolina, I think, here in the rematch. Now, of course, when these two played in Chapel Hill back on February 2nd, Virginia won that game 75-64, and it was an impressive win considering they were coming off their first loss of the season, blowing an 11-point second-half lead to Duke in their prior contest. And they started sluggishly as North Carolina hit 53% of its shots in the first half before the Tar Heels were throttled defensively after intermission as Virginia held them to just 38% shooting. Now, no big surprise because you have Virginia, the #1 scoring defense team in the nation, giving up just an average of 50.1 points a game. But in that game, Anderson had 16 points to drive the Cavaliers' offense. He's not getting 16 today. And North Carolina coming off a confidence-building win against Louisville yesterday. And I know the Tar Heels are just 1-5 versus top 10 teams this year. I don't say they win this game, but I don't think Virginia's going to be able to suppress the North Carolina offense. I do think that these teams are going to score somewhere in the 60s. I can see this being a 67-64 game, a 63-60 game. Now that the line's up to 4.5, I've got to take the Tar Heels plus the points as your other complimentary play today. That'll do it, guys. Best of luck to you all, and I'll catch you again here tomorrow, Saturday morning, on Roku and VegasSportsAdvisors.com with your Saturday video report. Good luck, everybody.